what we said when we received the petition last week from the petitioners. We will keep updating the public, and this is the first leg of that update. So that I align my facts straight. I consider the content of the petition and concluded that the nature of the petition obliges me as the shareholder representative in Ceda to commission a forensic audit to verify all the allegations and to investigate other related matters not raised in the petition but which could be of assistance. The Ministry is aware and concerned about the content of a series of allegations which naturally raises questions regarding the governance and other issues involving the operation management of Ceda. What has been shared in or through various media platforms is truly disturbing. The Ministry wishes to advise that action is actively being taken in order to have a full appreciation as a basis for informed action. In taking action and working towards giving feedback that the public expects, it is important that we respect established processes of the law and administration so that no entity or person are duly compromised, with public interest given the due priority. In pursuit of the wider public interest, it is priority that aspect of full accountability, transparency, and integrity of process, among other things, are fully executed, but in timely manner. In addition to internal interventions of a fact-finding nature, we have embraced the need to be open-minded about collaborating with relevant and investigative authorities to help us to get to the bottom of the concern. In recognition of that, we cannot dissolve the problem or concerns without passing through and understanding any input from the statutory authorities, such as the courts of law. We wish to defer for them where appropriate, in so far as they can assist before we can make any definitive pronouncements. Having said that, it is our commitment to follow up internally and in the interim to correct where necessary. As part of this process, and in the event of there being any other concerns that may arise from time to time, we encourage that information be shared with the Ministry. In this regard, I implore you not to take matters into your own hands, as I'm aware that you had indicated the possibility of a civil arrest. In closing, we advise that in the public and general professional interest, we assure the public that our Ministry's day-to-day public service delivery process will have no tolerance for corruption and questionable conduct.
Minister, thank you very much. I believe Rutule Minister concerning this issue. So for any clarification, this is the time for us now to ask questions. Could you please, how was that also? And brief to the point so that we give others a chance. I believe so that it's much easier for the media.
Silom Matsata speaking for the China Times online newspaper. Mine is a fairly interrelated question. The first question I wanted to ask the Minister is, what is the time frame of this audit that you want to conduct? Related issue would be, now that you're conducting an audit of Ceda, don't you allow a creative process which allows people to submit their complaints? Because you're only really, seems to me, dealing with a narrow set of grievances and those who were at the demonstrations. For example, some of us, for example, have complained about Ceda and tried to engage lawyers, but were never successful. Aren't you going to create an avenue where people can submit formal complaints against Ceda so they can also be adjudicated? And also in terms of the government structure, can we see the government structure changing Ceda in the future? Because as it stands right now, even when you appeal a Ceda decision, the CEO who took the primary decision is also part of the appeals process. It seems to me to be counterproductive. Thank you.
Thank you, Remazepa. Kita kupae mwaha pertatsa about 3 questions before the Arabiwa. Abale botani putsole nela tumeleka kwa so that we don't take time.
Thank you very much. Do my fam. It's probably just a quick one. I'm otherwise indifferent to whatever else has been talked about. I'm much more curious about the governance structures that the minister seeks to put up. Specifically, there's forensic audit that you want to put up. What guarantees are you going to put in place that it will not be interfered with? How are we going to know that that's transparent enough? Because the concern, at least having interviewed the petitioners, is that there could be interference. How are we going to know who's going to set the terms of reference? How transparent are they going to be? And to what extent can you guarantee to the petitioners that these particular auditors are going to be truly independent of the Ceda influence from Ceda and the Ceda board? Thank you.
A forensic audit is being started more Ceda. The board, the CEO, or other alleged parties, transparency ready to independence ya auditena. I am on that thing, the alleged parties, the incident abone, Banziba to the
The last one, yeah, before the ministers could respond.
My name is Vincent Sabati from Tiroyaone Media Group. Tota ni lor ki botsa yone potso ya gore kana no borre ba ile gore ba the alleged people ba investigate ba te mo tirong and how wa go investigate motho a le mo tirong yang ka gore ona le possibility ya gore ba nyeletse bosupi minister a khona go dirisa di power tsa go tsa gore a sege le batho ba ile gore ba rena le diperelo tsa gore ba sentse a go khona go diragala jalo.
Thank you very much. I believe this is the chance now to give, to get the response from our ministers and both PS. Babahar. Minister. Okay, lebata. Okay. Basan sebagai kau kanan kata. Bu.
The first question was the timeline for a process. We have already started drafting the terms of reference, and will also be guided by whoever will be engaged in the process. The magnitude of the work that he has to go through. But we're hoping it will not be a long process, and we have estimated it at 3 months. The second question, have we created avenues for Babak complainant or others to add to the allegations that have already been submitted through the petition? This is a process that we have allowed, and we allow ourselves to always have those. Hongwe process they might not be included in the terms of reference. So we encourage that at this stage, we're hoping the petitioners group they had the chance to do that. But we are still open to receiving any if they are there. And then I didn't understand the governance structure one, the governance structure change. The PS, would you like to take that one?
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Re Difuzo, I understood him to be saying around governance issues, how are we going to guarantee that the process is transparent? I just want to assure you, Hore, the forensic audit is being instituted by the ministry. Hai diroki ba Ceda body kana baoki whenever I long or libile di kanza one. It will be done here. The procurement of the forensic audit team will be done by the ministry. So we'll ensure that the process is as transparent as it can. And Libone, they will be independent. They are given terms of reference and they will be working using those terms of reference. Can I clarify?
Thank you very much. Dumelang baretso. Mikiri gongwela go tatsa tona mo khanyinya the terms of reference is as indicated in his statement. I think towards the end, really the aspect, sort of natural justice and being open and working collaboratively with other institutions, statutory, is already ongoing. So there's going to be a process here already. In terms of independence, there'll be that element of triangulation. There's going to be a combination of whatever might come from the forensic audit as considered with other aspects. So I just wanted to highlight for independence and making sure that the right thing is done. It's just not going to be a perspective minister, if that can give some comfort. The other aspect that I wish to quickly touch on around process of complaints. I think in his statement, the minister also indicated that you are invited. The ministry is quite happy that if and when there are issues, they can be brought forward so that they can be resolved in a very open and transparent manner. I believe this is something that is going to be encouraged all the time, so there really isn't anything that is going to be problematic. Thank you.
Maybe just let me add to Mutsetla. He also spoke to the appeal process ya Ceda. Kore okar hai bereke sen. Para re tla ha tse re lebella ho bona hore me kana then we'll be working with the board ho bona hore e ka improve ya. Me, we should also know hore kana when you appeal to Ceda, halo sa khotsohale, you still have the ministry to come to appeal hore kana ka kone ke kopa thuso teng ga ke utlo hore ba reng, and then appeal to the ministry. Thank you.
Yeah, I think lastly it's on independence. The people that are accused are still there, and how is the process going to move forward? We are at a preliminary stage where we're still starting the process, and then when it's time, the possible process as transparent as possible. It's kind of interference at the end of the day, because it's a but that will be dependent on the processes that we take. There is a need to do that. We'll follow the process and do that, so that interference in the process. Like the we're very related. We're talking to transparency, we're talking to independence from the people that might have been accused by the petitioners. Thank you, sir.
The powers to suspend.
Thank you, Minister. I believe we still have more questions. This is the chance. So,
from Mail Online. Allow me to quote something from the petition. Suspend Mr. Tabotamani, Ceda Executive and Ceda Board in Dr. Alfred Sewing, Dr. Tiroyaone Ntsima, and Mr. Entrepreneurial to allow for a full investigation to be carried out without their interference. Napotswa memoto here, Hore, but like Baba mentioned, I gave the Ceda board members, say, can I level the member of the whole. I look at the member and the board member. If you got that one, I'll wait it a long way. I tokanele forensic. Yaha the brand ambassador. Imoto Tata Minister. For a brand ambassador was it. Agila Yualuni, a 1 and 10. Look for a ne. Ki miracle full time, make an a service provider. Yes. Look for as a service provider and a qualify loan is a seat.
thank you very much.
The petitioners also have already started to make social media posts expressing their doubts on your capabilities together with your peers, Mr. Minister. What do you have to say about that?
Thank you. Kiadu Medisa. Sean Mungatani, RB2. My question, Honorable Minister, is going to be very brief. Ceda has engaged lawyers currently and is currently in court over these allegations, the petition. My question is, if Ceda were to lose being a state-owned enterprise, is the board going to be held accountable for engaging in that lawsuit? Because it is of my opinion that state resources are still being used to defend Ceda. Thank you.
I'm from Mirandi Monitor Newspapers. Mr. Minister, based on your response to the petitions who marched on Ceda offices last week on allegations of corruption that your ministry is not suspending Ceda chief executive officer. Okay, I'm sorry. I was saying, based on your response that you are not suspending the CEO last week, based on the match that they made to your office, you said that you are not suspending, but it is my understanding that one of your parastatals, Gambling Authority, a CEO was suspended and they are facing a court case in 2 weeks' time. So I wanted to understand if this is the same pattern that your parastatals are applying.
Can you repeat the one about the Gambling Authority?
Okay. So I was saying that the Gambling Authority is facing a court case and a CEO was suspended. So I wanted to understand, is there the same pattern that is being applied across all your parastatals under your ministry?
Thank you very much. She's coming. Wonderful. It's live on BTV.
Dumela Bagolo, Dumela Honorable Ministers, Level PSC. My name is Diana from Gabs FM. How are you going to ensure that? But both ministries. Okay, it's now one ministry, Ministry of Entrepreneurship and of Trade and Entrepreneurship, right? How are you going to ensure that those who are implicated in a Babereki by ministry are not part of the investigation? Thank you very much.
touch on the names of the board. Start with the first one, the board, the names.
Thank you very much. I will touch on the questions relating to the board, question res rite, and then the one relating to people who are perceived or are considered to have some kind of conflict of interest. Well, let me preface that by just saying that Ceda has been there since 2001, and from the petition or the issues that are coming, they don't just relate to the last 2 months or the last year. At least that's how we have understood them. So you are going to find a combination of people who may have been in the board during the time that has been cited or currently. So what I mean is that you may find that there are some names of people who were in the Ceda board at some point but who are not there. But might now at some point were on the board, Ceda. Then when it comes to question Re Serite, the answer is that he is not an employee, Ceda. He is a contractor. By guideline and rule, employees by Ceda do not get loans from Ceda. But the Re Serite specifically, he's a contractor, yes, he would be eligible to get loans. As to detail how much he might have got and in that, we don't have that now. So we're not able to answer that question. And the other aspect which I would like to touch on, which the Minister alluded to earlier, is that yes, there's a point where the investigation has to start. And to the extent that natural justice is there and certain information is required, you can't reasonably on the first day be removing everybody. But every step would be taken to make sure that if there's any information that has to be protected, it is in fact protected. And we might even say that to the extent that the Honourable Minister has already indicated that there are other investigative authorities who are already on the matter. Those aspects are being taken care of.
Okay, since I think the asker or Mutsu also asked about the capabilities of the PS and the Minister, whether we are capable. I'll speak for myself because I have not taken any loan from Ceda. Kana ke bone ba re beileng ha gore re te go lebella tota tsamaiso dithuto tsa bone gore a di tsamaisiwa sentle. And this is what we bring to this ministry. Ke gone gore tse ke tseng gore di ne sa tsamae sentle go morago ha re se ola ha re le teng, we have to be accountable to them, and we have to make sure that the public get confidence in their departments and their ministries gore dilo tsa bone di tsamaisiwa sentle. So I don't think you have a problem of having Ntsima here as a minister being implicated or having any interest in the matter. And then yang moikia ya di lawsuit that goes Ceda against the petitioners some of these issues started before we were appointed as ministers, and we are currently talking to Ceda about these issues. From the other side, I can position before we got here. So some of the things that we're answering are things that have been processed or done before we return our officing. So, but those are really that and make sure that the so we're still engaging with Ceda on those, and then should the resource that we'll get to that, and we'll get to update you and the public about the Zinja. And then the other question was about suspending Ceda go lebeletse gore ga teng CEO go lebeletse gore le wa competition authority o kila dirwa jalo a suspend you. But we don't want to be like I think we've seen what the previous government did. No go khona o tshwara batho ba thathelwa go morago go need case be overturn. We are approaching things differently. That is why gongwe PS antsa a mention natural justice hands. And re buile gape gore re puso e leng gore re kegela di tshwanelo tsa batho. So we're going to run with that. Me ha ile gore motho mo lato teng, we're not going to be afraid to act. Gore be ile gore ha ile gore o tshwantse gore a sute gore di tsamaye sente. We would get to that but we appreciate that we are starting and we're starting from somewhere. And then Mayor Diana, I think, was asking about workers. I believe she meant Ceda or the ministry. That will be implicated. Action will be taken against
Maybe just to buttress the point that the minister is making around the question, are the resources of Ceda going to be used to defend? Where to just explain that Ceda as a statutory institution or as a body corporate is a juristic person. In terms of our laws, if there's an allegation or somebody is taken to court, they have a right to defend themselves. In this case, Ceda as an institution, if there are any issues, they can, at their own cost as an institution, defend where they can in the court of law. This is something what I think let's just accept what is a reality as the Honorable Minister was explaining.
Kana ne ke ipueletsa halebe ke lebala go tsenya mamadisa because na re tsentse mo laineng e one gore I'm here supervising mama ga ke mo itse mme ke kopana hela le ene mo ministry, but should there be anything that is wayward about her, proper action will be taken. It's a gore ha leng teng ga ka I compromise le ene gore go mo ifitelele gore o gogela go bogogong ga ke wa ke na le re mathoti re ba bedi against him, against them le rebini tota hela representing Batopi, representing Batswana ba ba leng gore ba re beile gone ke a leboga.
Gongwe hela go tatsa ke gona gore le na la utlwa le ha tautona a nna buisa setšhaba ko parlamenteng o ne a tlhalosa jalo gore molao wa o sara morago e seng sepe gape molao hela ke gone le bone le maloba re nne ra kgona gore re amogele petition go sena la le mathata a ne le ka bona gore in the previous government we tried gore ga ngwa batho ba batla go itlhalosa jalo go ba ka kgontshiwa ka tsela e behela jalo jalo ke gone mo le boneng jalo maloba ba tsile ba ba disa and then no go sena la le any other analysis tse di kileng tsa nna teng. Thank you.
I believe this is now the last round, and it will be started by Kialebo Kadihutsu. So that we do it quickly, we want to wrap up.
My apologies, it's a little bit unfair, but unfortunately I was not answered. You cannot tell me that you're going to be transparent. You cannot expect me to believe that you're going to be transparent because you're telling me that you're going to be transparent. I need an appreciation, honestly, and I think people out there need an appreciation of what is it that you're going to put in place. To one, ensure that no one whatsoever with any connections to Ceda is going to influence your decision to come up with the auditors. That is one. Two, what exactly is it that you're going to do to ensure and to guarantee to the people? Look, to begin with, one way or the other, I do not know whether there is corruption or there is no corruption. There are simply allegations at this point in time. I'm interested in that. But unfortunately, the answer is not sufficient. You need to tell us. It's okay if you do not know the terms at this point in time, and you will share them later. But please, it is a little bit condescending to say that I'm telling you that it's going to be transparent, therefore believe that it's going to be transparent. It's not sufficient. Furthermore, can we just maybe handle this issue a bit? I had reference being made to it. To the best of my knowledge, and I stand to be corrected, I'm not a lawyer. Public time questioned it in whichever manner they see fit. Even if it's a body corporate, it's still financed through the subvention, being the taxpayer. Can you please reconcile the role of the ministry in ensuring whether this issue is necessarily or necessitates to be put before the court of law? Thank you.
My name is Moni from Pressford. My question is, do you have is any other parastatal under investigation from your ministry? If it's so, or how many? And did at any point you have sensed any corruption or any allegation before this petition about Ceda or any other institutions?
Morning. My name is Tsolofela Tombale from BTV. My question here is, there seems to be a recurrence of this part where you're saying what other law enforcement agencies are involved in this investigation, and yet there's no clarity on which agencies are you talking about, how far are they in their investigation, and how will their investigation impact on the forensic audit you're going to do. Thank you.
Good day. My name is Rivila Paladi, and I'm part of the aggrieved entrepreneurs and companies that have been aggrieved by some of the maladministration by Ceda. My question is to the Minister that as the aggrieved companies that have been facing challenges from Ceda and have appealed both to Ceda and the previous Ministry of Entrepreneurship with no response, through natural justice that you have just explained, we are faced with opportunity costs due to the contracts that are signed through Ceda, as well as financial opportunity costs and emotional burdens through the processes of the maladministration faced by Ceda. Now, my question is, in the process of waiting for natural justice to occur, how does the ministry intend to then compensate or restore what has been lost in the process of waiting for justice to be served?
I believe he's the last one.
Selom Ceda again from the Tswana Times. Just a quick question. Yes, I understand that the forensic audit is being conducted right now, but my question is just in terms of basic governance. Moving forward, can we expect that Ceda as an institution will be subjected to a yearly audit by the Auditor General? Currently, that is not the case. Can we expect moving forward in terms of good governance that Ceda will be audited by the Auditor General like other parastatals that are under government? And secondly, yes, there's a forensic audit. What are the limits in terms of penalties? Is there a possibility that people can go to jail, that people can be fined? Because, I think sometimes that's a very good thing to happen. So that in future, I'm not saying, but there are going to be consequences because some of these guys are really messing up people's lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll get to the answers from the ministers. Let me do this way.
Thank you again, sir. I'll take the last one. I'd like to start with the last one. Would Ceda be audited annually like other SOEs? Tota, we would love for transparency. Tota, hela hore be le hore di tsote bu di ready ba puso ke di tse ileng hore di both ba tswana ba itse hore di tsa bone di babalesegile ka nako yotlhe. And we will also be advised by the report the audit what are things that we need to do to the dilo tse ileng gore gongwe di ka tswa di diragetse o tse ileng gore di ka hithelelwa mo go yone mme ko nteng ga mo gore le ha ile gore audit e tata gope ka tsela e pains. I think it's in the public interest for Ceda e auditiwe annually so that people get to appreciate and see that it is doing ka tsela e ntseng jang. I would also like to address Yaha Meole on her issues. I didn't get the name, sorry. She's aggrieved. Maladministration, opportunity costs for a medita helitza diduelo kana would they be compensation after the fact? Because we're still finding out, totally what she's referring to go research ha ile gore go tatswa tota go lebega gore gona le bangwe ba ba baletsweng ke tsamaiso ya Ceda. Tota hela go tshwanetse gore go nne le sengwe se se ka dirwa. I'm not going to say there will be compensation, but go tshwanetse gore go nne le sengwe se se ka dirwang ha ile gore there was that ha go se se leng gore se go diragaletse se tshwanetse se ka bo se go costile kana go ka bo tsamaya go gongwe ka dilo tse dintseng jalo. And then I'm going to also address Yaha Red Huze on a transparency. How do we make sure that the process is transparent, that there is no interference? But please appreciate that there was no investigation prior to the petition coming to the ministry. But that we're starting from the petition. I don't think there were cases before we came. They don't be Leone. Me hela tota what we generally tell mo go sone ke gore we make sure gore go nna le jalo le transparency. Ha ile gore go toka hala tota gore go ntshiwe malabe kana dilabe tse di ka kgoreletsang gore the process in a transparent. We will do our best gore go tota process go bohelong e be ile gore mongwe le mongwe wa appreciate o bile o dumela gore e dirile tiro e tshwanetseng e bile e leng gore e ya letlelesega kana madu a yone go bohelong. I think the other institutions, I'll give it to Ibini. They are involved currently in the same process.
Thank you. I'm going to answer Yaha Leonore from First Photo. No, sir, from the former Minister of Entrepreneurship, where we were looking after Ceda and Leia, there weren't any investigations that were ongoing. Organization, and at any point in time, you're always going to have aspects that are internal and external audits. And what I can confirm is that from an internal audit point of view, within the ministries, there's always an audit going on, and some go to the Auditor General, and the reports come through any Auditor General at any point in time. But as for other parastatals, which we have been under the Minister of Trade and Industry, it's our PS Mamadi Sauta Atus. I can just touch on the point already again, and as the minister was saying, the ministers have been in the job for 3 weeks now, or 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Now, as PS go entrepreneurship and the job for about a year, I think Mama Disalene saying. So here I'm trying to answer the question. Let's see. How are you going to make sure that no one with connections with Ceda is going to be a part of? Just to say that there has to be a starting point unless someone else knows everyone who has been connected with Ceda. And I don't believe that everybody knows. And this is why it is important to appreciate that there has to be a starting point. And in the process of doing the work, certain things are going to emerge. There's going to be evaluation and judgment regarding who may or may not be involved in the work. And I think this is why the minister was saying, give us an opportunity for us to assess. But understand that at the end of the day, we are going to make sure that everyone is accountable, work is done transparently. So if that is assurance, that's all I can say perhaps we should look at. And then the point there, Refilwe Paladi, again supporting the minister to say that what you are bringing up may be valid, may not. You brought up an issue. Let it be looked at. Whether or not there would be compensation or compensation is due is something, again, that is going to emerge. The minister's statement right at the beginning indicated that we are going to make sure that whatever work is being done or the service delivery that we are charged with doing is going to be done with integrity. And I believe issues equity and fairness are going to come out there. So it's not an issue where you can sort of predetermine or prejudge what the outcome is going to be. But there's a process that is going to be followed. Re Tumbale had a question around which agencies. I can confirm that the Directorate of Intelligence and Security has been involved with this matter because, as I indicated earlier, Ceda has been there for some time. They have looked at the issues before. They are carrying on looking at the issues. There has been formal approach after or around the time of the petition from the Directorate on Corruption and Economic Crime. So they are actively looking at the work right now. How will they impact on the audit? Let me go back to the point that I made earlier, that there's an aspect here, triangulation, because they can go and do their investigative work in line with the acts that mandate them. The Honorable Minister also has been given certain responsibilities in the ministry and has tools that he can use. These are going to be done independently. If at the end something emerges that sort of gets together, decisions will be made. But this is where the independence comes in, to say there will be an assessment. He's indicated that he's going to undertake a forensic audit. Now that forensic audit that the minister undertakes is not necessarily going to follow the process, what DC is going to do. But at some point, all this will be looked at and a determination will be made. I don't know if that helps already, Hucho, but this is what we're talking about, to say, let us take a very broad and a holistic approach, but just understand that at the end of the day, as the statement said, the government or the ministry doesn't have any tolerance for corruption and is willing to engage.
I think the last one that I think was not addressed, will we see this going to other SOEs or other institutions that are not mentioned here? I would like to adopt or to free of corruption. So our interest would also be to find out across all SOEs under our ministries. So when it comes to having maybe forensic audit for all of them, we cannot say we're going to, but will institute the same. Program. Ki rotoetse ki papa maletse motswana hore khaini ga se ya bone ba leno se le rona re ke khanya rona re na le dikgatlhego mo go yone gore dilo di tsamaiswe sentle ya ka government o montšha. We have an opportunity go bankanya dilo ha ile gore di ne di sa tsamae sentle teng. We also have an opportunity ya gore ha ile gore batswana ba ka tswa gope ka go pehela ba lose the trust in these institutions. Re bone gore we restore the trust. So batswana ba dumele gore ba ka thusega sentle ha ba ile go maphateng ka gore maphata kana tsone di SOEs di retswe ene motswana kana go thusa ene motswana go ketsa jalo tsa dikgwebo tsa bone kana go iketsa mo lehumeng. So re dumela thata gore kganni ga se ya go mo di petitionera di le nosi ke ya batswana ke ya rona le rona
re le mo bogoging ka ko pusong gore re batla gore dilo di tsamaye sentle ebile mme Motswana a dumele thata gore tsotlhe tse di ntshiwang ke puso ya gagwe ya itlhophileng ebile gore ke tsone tse di mmerekelang ko bohelong ba letsatsi ka leboga.
Sorry, Honorable Minister, the Entrepreneurial audit. And just to confirm that Ceda does get audited. The audit for the current financial year is ongoing. It is expected to be concluded by December in Yota, and the auditors are Grant Thornton. So there are audits that have been undertaken, and in terms of the Public Finance Management Act, there's always provision that Auditor General audit, they can also do that. And I'm just buttressing this in the context of what the Honorable Minister said, or any and everything that has to be done in the public interest will actually be done.
Thank you, Tanela, Assistant Minister, Maratiwa, Matote, for a lebogela ka direla ntse halo minister ntse hala se ska go emeletsa.
Ke a leboga. Magitse sebaka se ke le leboge go bo le bone nako ya gore le tekwano le telebotse dipotso le telenele Batswana se leng gore le se arabile mo tsatsing la gompieno. Mme ke kopela jalo gore le nne le tswelle le ira yalo ka gore ke maikaelelo a rona mo ministering gore re bone gore ministry wa rona is free from corruption, kana is free from gonna le dipelaelo tse leng gore batho ba di belaela jaaka hala setšhaba se sena le pelaelo e ntse gore go na le tse di maswe tse di diragalang, mme re tla sala sengwe le sengwe morago gore at the end of the day e be e le gore jaanong our ministry yaanong o clean ga ona dipelaelo dipe. Ke ra gore ko one magakwaneng ke ka bua mme ebile ke be ke leboge le ba gaetsho ba leng gano ba neng ba araba dipotso ka botalo, and ke akanya jalo gone gore as we go forward we'll keep on engaging gore re bone gore re ka tokagatsa ministry wa rona jang ga rena ope re ka mo kgapelang ko thoko mongwe le mongwe le tesegile gore a lebelele dilo ka ga batlang go di lebelela ka teng rona re bo re di tsaya ke re ke a leboga ba gaetso. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ministers. Thank you, both PS and Deputy PSs here. Thank you, Baby Khan Neleri Tile. Karabua. This is one of the first press conferences close to 20 or more than 20 questions, and they were answered fully. Me, I believe, Mahokwaha, Assistant Minister, Ramatota, will keep on engaging. When necessary, we'll call another press conference to give you updates on the progress. So we believe that sharing information is trying to put away the pelayo di petse di kanante. Bagaetso, re lebogile hala thata, mme ga le tswa ha le ska na maletsamaile. Le diretswe metsinyana ka kwa ke taretalla bo minister le top table ya gore mme o monte yo emeng kwa yo o emetse lona. Ba bulele di thapelo a re thapelo. Mo mare tswelele ka thapelo. E tawara pele. My sister.
Hollandia Coffee Shop started off as a grocery store way back in the 1940s. Present day, walking into Hollandia is akin to walking into a museum cum art gallery. The rich history, which dates as far back as 1948,